revealed. 7 haunting motel secrets that will chill you to the bone. Forbidden tales uncovered. Huddled behind peeling paint and sagging rafters, the Cedar Springs Motel stands as a testament to the bizarre and the inexplicable. Locals whisper about 7 chilling secrets buried within its walls, each story more spine-tingling than the last. Flickering lights and cold drafts weave a tale of mystery, where the grins of unsuspecting guests fade into the echoes of the past. Rumor has it that late-night screams once spilled into the empty parking lot, rattling the souls of those brave enough to stay. What really happened here? As Lisa and her daughter Jenna settle into their new life, they can't help but feel the weight of those haunted tales lingering in the air. The first night in their decrepit motel room, they hear soft whispers slithering through the cracks. The flickering lights seem to dance to the rhythm of the murmurs, casting long, trembling shadows on the walls. Was it merely the wind? Jenna's wide eyes dart around, catching snatches of quick movement, a fleeting shadow in her periphery. And then there are the chilling cold spots. One moment, there by the radiator, bodies warmed by the warmth of hope, only to be chilled by an unseen presence the next. Just the old building settling, Lisa tells herself, but the lump in her throat says otherwise. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system, and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The community of Cedar Springs is quirky and welcoming. A blend of eccentric souls who can easily rattle off their own ghostly encounters at the motel. Mrs. Thompson, the baker, speaks of a guest who checked in one stormy night and vanished without a trace, leaving behind only a blood-curdling scream imprinted in the walls. Another neighbor shares tales of transient workers who had claimed to be followed by eerie figures, always just beyond their sight, begging for freedom from their own doomed past. As Lisa learns more about the motelist's dark history, a gnawing worry settles inside her. How can she keep Jenna safe when the shadows play tricks and the whispers grow fiercer with each passing day? Determined to transform their new home into a sanctuary, they grapple with the fear that requires facing what lurks in the dark. It's not long before they realize this isn't merely a story. The restless spirits are awake, and they demand attention. As whispers increase into howls, the very foundation of their new life trembles. Shadows twist across the peeling wallpaper, desperate to unleash their secrets. What dark truths stalk the halls of the Cedar Springs Motel, connecting Lisa and Jenna to an ancestral lineage soaked in betrayal and grief? With each breath, the tension mounts, leading them down a path of confrontation that will bind their fates to those they cannot see. Will they find the courage to confront the forces manipulating their lives? Or will the haunted history of the Cedar Springs Motel consume them completely? The answers linger, just out of reach, as thunderous echoes ripple through the halls, leaving them frozen in dread. What dark revelations lie in wait? The wind howled outside, rattling the aged windows of the Cedar Springs Motel. Lisa sat up in bed, heart pounding, eyes fixed on the door. Jenna blinked awake next to her, confusion washing over her face. "Mom, what's wrong?" Her voice was small, almost lost in the overwhelming silence that seemed to settle over the room. "Nothing, sweetie. Just thought I heard something." Lisa's voice trembled, more from fear than fatigue. Outside, a thunderclap crashed, followed by a flash of lightning that illuminated the room in ghostly white. In that brief moment, Lisa swore she could see a figure standing at the foot of their bed, dark and formless, just beyond reach, drifting into shadow as quickly as it had appeared. "Mom!" Jenna clutched her arm, her small fingers digging in with urgency. "I saw it too." Panic rushed through Lisa, the comforting thought that they had merely moved to an old building, one that just needed fixing up, was crumbling before her eyes. "It's okay, honey. Just the storm," she whispered, though her own words felt hollow against the mounting fear. Another screech of wind swirled outside, and with it came a rush of sound, like whispers flitting from one corner of the room to another. Lisa strained to listen. The voices seemed to blend into the creaking of the floorboards, blending together into a crescendo of desperation and sorrow. "Mom, what are they saying?" Jenna's innocence cut through Lisa's resolve. "I don't know." Her breath hitched, fear knotting in her stomach. "Stay close to me, okay?" As if in answer to their fears, the lights began to flicker, a stuttering rhythm that echoed their unease. Each flicker felt like a heartbeat, quickening and threatening to explode. Shadows swirled around them, twisting like dark smoke, looming over them as if they were alive. The door rattled, shaking on its hinges. A low groan escaped the wood, sounding almost like a voice raised in anguish. Lisa rushed to the door, throwing it open, hoping to find anything that made sense beyond her pounding heart and swirling dread. The hallway was empty, but the air felt charged, heavy with tension. Gritting her teeth, she stepped outside. Fresh air washed over her, but it came laced with an unshakable chill. "Jenna, wait here," she urged, stepping just beyond the threshold. The hallway seemed to stretch endlessly, dimly lit by the flickering bulbs that hung like forgotten stars from the ceiling. "Why are we here, Mom?" Jenna's sniffle echoed, twinging at Lisa's heart. "What do you mean, honey? There's something wrong with this place." Suddenly, the whispers intensified, swirling louder, demanding attention. Jenna wrapped her arms around her knees, trembling, reflecting the stillness of the air. "They want us to leave." Just then, the lights above flickered madly, plunging them into darkness for a breath before flooding back to life. Lisa's eyes widened. The face of a woman appeared at the far end of the hallway. She was pale, her eyes hollow and searching, beckoning them forward with a cold finger. "Mom, don't!" Jenna screamed, but the sound was swallowed by the curtains of shadows swallowing the light. The woman's figure flickered like the lights, wavering between existence and nothingness, as though an impatient spirit could no longer bear the past. "Find me," she whispered, her voice echoing through the hallway, chilling them to the bone. "Who are you?" Lisa called, though she was terrified of the answer, yet drawn toward the ethereal figure. "Find me," the ghost repeated, the urgency in her tone palpable. Trembling, Lisa's instincts screamed at her to turn back and shut the door on the secrets that lay ahead. But the enigmatic plea hung heavy in the air, a gravitational pull on her thoughts. "Mom, we need to go back." Jenna pulled at her sleeve, her terror a sharp contrast to the ghost's haunting allure. Lisa's gaze was locked on the specter, and in that moment, her decision hung on a knife's edge. Would she chase a ghost through the halls, risking everything for answers? The instinct to protect her daughter shot through her like fire. "Let us go." "Jenna," she finally blurted, turning to race back down the hall. But as they ran, a door banged open at the end, revealing sharp darkness that thrummed with malevolence. The ghostly woman floated closer, her lips moving in an endless chant. A wave of cold air crashed over them, and Lisa knew she couldn't escape, but neither could she confront whatever lay hidden in those shadowed corners. They were in deeper than they'd ever imagined, caught in a web of whispered sorrows and dark invitations. "Mom, they're angry," Jenna cried, her voice shrill as something unseen lunged from the inky darkness. As thunder rolled overhead, the world distorted, spiraling into chaos. Lisa and Jenna clung to each other as the whispers turned into screams, reverberating through their bones, weaving into their very beings. In that electrifying moment of uncertainty, a chilling realization rattled through Lisa. What if they were never meant to uncover the truth? And what if the answer wasn't for them at all? The air thickened, and Lisa's heart raced as they stumbled back, chased by echoes of the past, surrounded by shadows that could become the very end of their story. The motel's dark promise loomed before them, a promise intertwined with the echoes of other lost souls, their fates hanging in the balance. What would finally happen if they crossed that threshold into truth? Would it be salvation or ruin? The next chapter awaited, pulsing just beyond the veil of understanding. The shadows closed in around them like a suffocating blanket, each whispered scream wrapping tighter around Lisa and Jenna. Lisa's breath quickened, panic clawing at her throat as they stumbled backward. "Don't look back. Just keep running," she gasped, pulling Jenna alongside her. The hotel's hallway felt like a labyrinth, twisting and warping, leading them deeper into darkness. The ghostly figure had vanished, but the feeling of being watched pressed against them like a physical heaviness. They raced past door after door, each one seeming to throb with its own hidden secrets, yearning to be freed from quicksand of the past. "Mom! Help!" Jenna cried, her voice rising in pitch, trembling against the swirling chaos that surrounded them. Lisa couldn't comprehend what was happening. The world felt unreal. The air turned icy, as though every breath was laced with despair and fear. Suddenly, a loud bang echoed from behind them. The sound ricocheted off the walls, amplifying the dread coiling in Lisa's gut. She dared to glance back just as the door at the end of the hall swung open with a crack that rattled every nerve in her skull. A shadow, darker than the rest, poured out like thick smoke, coiling and swirling, ready to consume everything in its path. "Mom!" Jenna yanked at her hand, her small grip impossibly strong for such a fragile child. The specter swept closer, the swirling dark pulse around it bringing with it an uncanny silence. Lisa fought against the urge to scream as the shadow morphed into a face twisted in anguish, eyes wide with an eternal plea. "Find me," it hissed, the words slithering through the air, wrapping around Lisa's heart like a vice. "No, we can't help you," Lisa shouted, desperation echoing in her voice as they dashed toward the nearest stairwell. Behind them, the ghostly form stretched forward, reaching with icy fingers that grazed the back of Lisa's neck, sending a shock of cold down her spine. Jenna screamed, and in that moment, everything felt fragile like a single thread on the verge of snapping. They bounded down the staircase, fear driving them faster with each descent. At the bottom, Lisa slammed the door to the lobby open, nearly colliding with a worn-out desk bell. A heavy silence greeted them, broken only by the distant rumble of the storm outside, hinting at a night that seemed endless. The lobby was deceptively calm, but a shiver crawled up Lisa's spine as she surveyed the room. Dust motes danced in the dim light, settling over furniture that looked frozen in time. An old couch, a wooden rocking chair, and photographs hanging crookedly on the walls, their faces flickering like the lights above. "Mom, can we stay here?" Jenna trembled, pointing to the shadows beyond the lobby's entrance. "No, we need to get out," Lisa said, her voice cracking. She quickly checked the front door, but it wouldn't budge, the weight of something unseen locking it against their escape. Frantic, Lisa turned back to the room, gripping Jenna's hand tighter. "We need a plan," she whispered. The air felt thick, panic swelling within her. There must be another way out. Just then, the lobby lights dimmed, sparking wildly. Lisa's heart thundered in her chest. The flickering light revealed the photographs in full, and she stumbled backward. Those eyes, they were the same as the ghost's hollow, haunted, trapped within the frames as if waiting for her to understand. A gust of wind shot through the room, ruffling the curtains, and a whisper echoed around them, deep and resonant. "Find the truth," it called out, resonating with a shudder that coursed through the floor beneath them. What truth?" Jenna cried. Lisa's mind raced. Was this all a warning? A plea? Or something sinister meant to ensnare them deeper into the motel's grasp? "Mom, I'm scared." Jenna's voice quivered, cry matching the storm that rattled against the glass. "I know, sweetie. We need to stay strong." Lisa's resolve twisted painfully inside her. There was no safe path. Every choice led them further into darkness. The photos seemed to shift, faces contorted and mouths stretching in silent screams. They were no longer mere reflections of the past. They were trapped echoes of stories long sealed within these walls. With one last burst of adrenaline, Lisa strode toward the nearest window, hoping against hope that the chill of the storm would push them forward. But as she reached for the latch, it flew open with an unsettling creak. The wind surged in, filling the room with whispers of the past. Help us," the voices called, compelling yet menacing, and there, just outside the window, shadows swarmed, coalescing into forms of past guests, eyes pleading. Find us. The world tilted, and a wave of darkness surged through her. Lisa blinked through the tempest of emotions: fear, despair, sorrow. Jenna, hold on to me. With an unsettling clarity, Lisa realized the stakes. They needed to uncover the secrets of the Cedar Springs Motel, or be forever bound to its sorrows. In that moment, the truth appeared, an echoing promise teetering on the edge of revelation. But would they have the strength to confront it? Mom, we can't let them take us. Jenna's voice trailed off. But the shadows lunged once more, leaving them breathless at the brink of nightmare and hope. As the storm thrashed on, it became clear this wasn't just about them anymore. They had to confront their own past to unravel the truth of the motel that yearned to keep its secrets buried. Could they escape the clutches of darkness? Or was their fate already sealed within the shadows? The pounding of a new revelation surged ahead, pushing them toward a truth far darker than the storm itself. The wind howled through the window, whipping the dust into a frenzy, swirling the whispers around Lisa and Jenna like the arms of a frantic dancer. Lisa tightened her grip on Jenna's hand, feeling the child's pulse quicken, matching her own drumming heartbeat. Mom, please, they're coming. Jenna's wide eyes glistened with fear, and Lisa could almost see the panic clawing at her daughter's insides. From outside, the souls pressed close, faces twisted in sorrow and desperation. They beckoned, an invisible force urging Lisa and Jenna to join their nightmarish reality. Find us, free us. Their combined voices echoed off the walls, each syllable like a shard of ice stabbing at Lisa's resolve. Stay back, Lisa shouted into the storm. I won't let you take her. But her voice felt small amid the cacophony of the past, a mere whisper in a tempest of anguish. The lobby's dim light pulsed like a heartbeat as shadows danced across the flickering photographs, the faces within shifting violently, some recognizing Lisa, others filled with rage, and a few with despair. They want to be found. What does that mean? Lisa's thoughts spiraled, driven by the urgency clawing at her heart. Mom, look. Jenna's pointed finger trembled as she stared at a photograph that had shifted, revealing a young girl, eerily similar to Jenna. Her expression a mix of hope and sorrow. She looks like me. As Lisa leaned closer, a chill rushed through her, visions from the past swirling within the fractured glass. The hotel didn't just hide secrets. It clung to them like a child to a favorite toy. This girl, something about her held the key to their escape, yet it also tied them to a harrowing fate. I don't know what it means, Lisa admitted, verging on panic, but deep down, a realization slithered through her. They could not simply run anymore. They had to confront this. We have to find the truth. The storm outside roared, almost in agreement, rattling the windows and sending whispers spiraling toward them. Time is running out echoed through the room, an ominous countdown that sent spasms of fear through Lisa's bones. Can we just leave? What if we check the back door? Jenna suggested, desperation creeping into her voice. It's locked, Lisa grimaced, her mind racing against the swarming emotions. But what if the truth is in the past? What if we need to know what happened here? No, I don't want to know, Jenna whimpered, eyes darting back to the window where countless shadows battered against the glass, threatening to break through like a storm surge. But Lisa felt a pull, something deep inside whispering that this was their chance not just to escape the hotel, but to untangle the sorrow woven into the very fabric of the place. We can't fear the past, Jenna. We have to face it. Will you help me? Trembling but determined, Jenna nodded, the flicker of bravery rising within her. What do we do? Let us start with the photograph. Lisa turned back to the old picture, looking deep into the girl's eyes as if searching for a lifeline. Maybe we can find her. If we can figure out who she is, maybe we can find the way out. As they focused on the image, the shadows outside howled, feeding off their resolve. The wind picked up, shrieking through the room as the lobby lights flickered dangerously low. Then, a sudden loud crash sounded from the back of the lobby, the sound of something, or someone, rushing through the door. The moment hung like a taut wire, the air electrified with dread. Mom, what was that? Jenna squeaked, pressing closer. With a pounding heart, Lisa approached the door, each step echoing like a drum. I don't know, but we have to be ready. As Lisa reached for the door handle, it swung open violently, revealing not an empty space but a shadow, a figure dressed in tattered clothes, reminiscent of the past, eyes gleaming with something wild and desperate. And then, above the howling wind, a piercing scream crackled through the air, echoing with all the voices of the lost. Help us! Find us! They were moments away from uncovering the truth. But at what cost? Whatever lay beyond that threshold stirred with dark intent. Mom! Don't! Jenna cried as the shadows surged forward, engulfing them in a thick darkness, leaving them teetering on the edge of revelation and terror. What had they awakened? And would they dare to confront the haunting secrets? Or would this be the last chapter of their story, forever imprisoned in the Cedar Springs motel? The darkness swallowed them whole, and for a heartbeat, time stood still. Lisa felt Jenna's small hand shaking in hers, their bodies cocooned in an icy embrace. The figure loomed closer, its features still obscured by the shifting shadows, a ghost pulled from the depths of the motel's forgotten horrors. Who are you? Lisa's voice wavered, strong yet trembling, as she clutched Jenna tighter. A flicker of recognition washed over her, but it slipped away like smoke. Something was familiar yet profoundly unsettling. The air crackled with energy, charged to suffocation. Help us! The figure rasped, voice warped by distance and despair. Each word dripped with sorrow, bringing forth a tidal wave of emotions. The shadows moved, swirling around them as they whispered lost secret stories of betrayal and sorrow, coated in the dust of forgotten time. Mom! I don't like this, Jenna whimpered, her voice an urgent plea that reached deep into Lisa's soul. I know, sweetie. Just trust me. Lisa took a deep breath, trying to anchor herself against the flood of dark memories crashing against her. What do you want? She asked the figure, defiance creeping into her voice. The ghostly shape edged closer, revealing a face that sent a chill spiraling down Lisa's spine. It was a girl no older than Jenna, with hollow eyes and a mouth twisted in pain. You must find my name. It's the only way. Your name? Lisa echoed, piecing together fragments of her racing thoughts. Names held power, she knew that much. But in this haunted place, what did finding a name truly mean? Yes. Search the photographs. The girl's voice grew more urgent. Desperation clawed at her features. In a flash, the girl suddenly stretched out a hand toward Jenna. You're like me. No. Lisa stepped forward, shielding Jenna with her body. The girl recoiled, as if struck by a sudden revelation. Is this why they're here? This thought struck Lisa with force. Are they looking for you? The dark energy around them pulsed, almost like it was alive, eager to envelop them both. The shadows echoed a cacophony of cries, urging her to comply. Find her, find her. Jenna's eyes were wide, brimming with tears, yet beneath the fear, a spark of curiosity ignited. Mom, we can help her, right? Maybe that's how we can get out. Her voice quivered, but there was an unmistakable strength embedded in her words. Lisa glanced back at the girl, who hungered for acknowledgement, a damned soul desperate for peace. The two of them weren't just in the presence of a ghost. They stood at the crossroads of fate. But how could they possibly navigate this unknown path without more clues? Okay, Lisa breathed, taking a step back toward the ominous photographs lining the wall. Each image seemed to pulse with its own energy, beckoning her to take a closer look. Let us figure this out, Jenna. If this girl is tied to all of this, then she might lead us to our way out. They moved slowly through the desolate lobby, shadows trailing behind them like a dark cape. Lisa began inspecting the frames, searching for the girl's likeness amidst the sea of haunted faces. Some seemed familiar, others twisted with rage and bitterness. Every photograph that caught her eye held a story, an echo of pain that resonated with her. There, look, Jenna pointed. Lisa followed her gaze to a small corner of the lobby. A photograph lay slightly askew, its edges frayed and worn. The image was simple. A group of children playing, sunlight breaking through the trees above them. But there, among the joyous faces, was the girl. Her smile radiated innocence yet felt laden with an unexplainable sorrow that threatened to spill over. "Is that her?" Jenna whispered, mixing with fear. "What do we do, Mom?" Lisa squinted, feeling the pressure in her chest intensifying. "We find her name somehow. That's all that stands between us and freedom." Suddenly, the shadows flickered wildly around them, like a storm bending to their will. A final echo seemed to rise from the ground beneath, an unmistakable command woven into the whispers. "Time is running out." Lisa's heart raced. They needed to hurry. She gazed into Jenna's frightened eyes. "We have to remember names hold power. We just have to listen." But as they hovered over the photograph, the world around them began to buckle. Shadows extending like dark fingers toward the girl, desperation turning into violence. The howl of the wind crescendoed into a thunderous roar, and then, with a flash of blinding light, the lobby spun wildly before them. When the chaos slowed, they found themselves not in the lobby, but in the grasp of the darkest, most sinister area of the motel, a place where lost souls congregated in climax of agony. "Mom, where are we?" Jenna cried, panic surging anew in front of them. Flickering with an unsettling life of its own, was a door old and gnarled, yet somehow beckoning. What awaited them behind it? Was it the clue they sought, or a descent into even deeper darkness? The door loomed in front of them, an unyielding guardian to whatever lay beyond. It creaked slightly, as if daring them to enter. Lisa and Jenna exchanged glances, the weight of dread pulling at their very souls. The air around them felt different, thick with secrets that were begging to be uncovered. "Mom, do we have to?" Jenna's voice trembled as she took a step back, her small form almost swallowed by the shadows that surrounded them. Panic pulsed through her raw, undeniable fear that pulled at every instinct Lisa had. "We can't go back," Lisa whispered, her heart pounding in her chest like a drum of war. "We need to find her name. Remember? It's the key." But even as she spoke, a lump formed in her throat. The shadows whispered in cruel tones, wrapping around her like chains, reminding her that the dark sometimes had its own power, one that could twist intentions in ways they couldn't fathom. With a deep breath, Lisa took Jenna's hand. It felt warm against the oppressive cold that permeated this haunted space. "Together," she said, an attempt to mask the fear with a facade of courage. "On 3. 1, 2, 3. They pushed the door open together, its hinges screaming in protest as they stepped through the threshold. Inside, the scene unfurled like a twisted nightmare. The room was dimly lit, littered with remnants of a life long gone. An old rocking chair swayed gently as though someone had just left it. Dust motes danced in the shaft of daylight slicing through the cracked window, hinting at time lost. But it wasn't the room that caught their breath. It was what stood at its center. A mirror, ornate and ancient, hung on the wall, a haunting reflection of itself. Within its depths, Lisa could almost make out figures, moving faces swimming in and out of view like a tide against a shore. Heart racing, she stepped closer. Against every warning sign her instincts screamed. "Look," Jenna said, her voice a mere whisper. The little girl pointed at the mirror, her eyes wide with curiosity despite the fear that gnawed at her. The reflection shifted, revealing the girl they'd met before, the one lost among shadows. But now, she stood resolutely, her eyes filled with purpose, a quiet intensity igniting behind the hollow depths. "Find me," she urged, her voice echoing softly. "You have to find my name." "Can you see her, Jenna?" Lisa asked, the moment both exhilarating and terrifying. "Yes, but what's wrong with her?" Jenna stepped cautiously toward the mirror, drawn in by the ghostly apparition. Before Lisa could answer, the mirror rippled like water disturbed by a stone. The girl's face contorted with new desperation. "Hurry, before she gets here." Suddenly, a low growl resonated from the shadows beyond the door, a sound so primal and filled with rage that it made the hair on the back of Lisa's neck stand up. "Mom, what's that?" Jenna's voice shattered the air, panic spiraling. "Stay close," Lisa shouted, heart racing as she pulled Jenna behind her. The shadows around them flickered violently, and the heavy air thickened, choking off escape routes. "Tell her," the girl gasped, desperately straining against the mirror's surface. You'll know when you see it. What should we tell her? Lisa felt the ground beneath them tremble slightly as if the very foundation of this nightmare was ready to shatter. But before the girl could respond, the growl erupted into a roar that shattered the tension like glass. The door burst open violently, and a figure, a shapeless distortion of despair and rage, lunged through, eyes burning dark like coals. "Run!" Lisa screamed, grabbing Jenna and sprinting away from the mirror, its reflection still calling to them. The shadows chased them, a chorus of tormented souls wailing as they escaped the malevolent presence. They fled down a narrow corridor, fear propelling them forward. Panic surged with each step, the grasp of the darkness tightening as if trying to reclaim its prey. "Mom, where do we go?" Jenna cried out, her sobs echoing against the walls. "Anywhere but here," Lisa yelled, adrenaline spark igniting hope. But deep down, she felt the truth weigh heavy. Finding the name was their only way out. If only they could remember what needed to be revealed. The corridor opened up into an expansive room, and Lisa froze as a strange object caught her eye. On a table in the center lay an old, dusty name tag, seemingly mundane but radiating an otherworldly glow. Was it the answer they sought? Could it unlock the mystery that would free them from this grip of darkness? As she reached out toward the tag, a voice echoed ominously from behind. Not so fast. What waited next would change everything. Would they succumb to the darkness, or could the name be their salvation? The name tag shimmered under the dim light, its allure almost hypnotic. Lisa's hand hovered above it, drawn closer yet held back by an electrifying tension that suffocated her thoughts. The voice behind her loomed like a storm cloud, heavy and ominous. She could feel the cold breath of whatever stalked them, creeping up her spine as if to punish her for daring to pursue an answer. "Mom, what do we do?" Jenna's voice, quivering and small, cut through the chaos swirling around Lisa. "Just a second, honey," Lisa managed to whisper, her pulse racing with dread. She wanted nothing more than to snatch that name tag, to cling to hope amid the growing darkness. But her instincts screamed that every choice mattered and that this wasn't merely a game. "Do you see it? It's right there. It could be her name," the girl in the mirror shouted, her voice rising in urgency. Lisa could see her outline becoming distorted, her image flickering in and out of reality as the shadows inched closer. "No, it can't be that easy," Lisa thought, panicking as the air thickened with tremendous pressure. The low growl echoed again, vibrating the walls and sending tremors through the ground beneath them. "We have to go." But something compelled her to reach out. The tag promised revelation, a key to unlock everything they had hunted for. She could almost see it, a name long forgotten, tethered to a fate intertwined with their own. "Run. You don't have time." The girl's face was fierce now, pleading yet determined. "Grab it, Mom. Please." Jenna tugged on Lisa's sleeve, her fear palpable in the charging atmosphere. With one decisive motion, Lisa's fingers closed around the name tag. Energy surged through her, a wave of heat that knocked breath from her lungs. The room erupted in chaos. Shadows writhed, forcing their way toward her, and the growl transformed into a banshee's howl. "What have you done?" A deep, guttural voice thundered as the figure stepped further into view. It was a silhouette cast from nightmares, shifting and swirling like a dark vortex of anguish, eyes ablaze with a primal hunger. Lisa's heart raced as she lifted the name tag toward the apparition. "No, I won't let you take us." But it was as if the air shifted, each syllable causing the very fabric of reality to shimmer. The mirror rippled again, almost in response. "Find her!" the girl screamed, her image warping with desperation. "Mom, go!" Jenna cried, pulling at Lisa with all her might. Yet something was unyielding about the moment. The name tag felt hot and alive in Lisa's hands, whispering secrets just beyond reach. Suddenly, the figure lunged at them, its jagged limbs stretching grotesquely, darkened tendrils reaching for their throats. In that split second, someone behind them hissed, "The name is not for you. It belongs to the shadows. Let her go," Lisa shouted, feeling a surge of newfound strength as she pressed the name tag to her chest. The growl morphed into a screech, rattling the very foundation beneath them. The shadows recoiled momentarily, as if struck, revealing glimpses of the room beyond walls splashed with memories, fragmented echoes of laughter, pain, and despair. Your choice determines her fate. The voice roared. Choose wisely or perish. Lisa felt the weight of that statement deep in her gut as the darkness roared back to life, swirling and crashing like a storm. Time stretched, each second threatening to tear everything apart, until she realized the truth that had been gnawing at her all along as bright light exploded from the name tag, illuminating the warped figures in a ghostly glow. Lisa could feel Jenna clutching her side, heart pounding in synchronicity. "Mom, what are we going to do?" Jenna, the light swallowed the shadows momentarily, throwing everything into stark relief. Lisa stared down the hallway of darkness and fear, and in a breathless moment, everything sharpened into focus. "We going to turn back." With those words, the entire corridor erupted into chaos. The spirits howled, a cacophony of agony and fury, clawing at them as they plunged back into the heart of uncertainty. "What is your name?" came the painful whisper, echoing from the corners of Lisa's mind, igniting an old memory. But would they dare face the truth? Would they stand strong against whatever lay ahead? In that charged moment, as shadows closed in unrelentingly, the name tag flickered like a fading star. Would it spark salvation, or was it simply a setup for destruction? Clutching Jenna's hand, Lisa faced the encroaching darkness with fierce determination. But behind her, the mirror rippled ominously, the girl's voice fading into the storm. "Find me before she returns," and with that ghostly echo, a new dread formed on the horizon, one that barely hinted at the horrors to come. Would they recover the name, or would they lose themselves to the same shadows celebrating within its dark embrace? The shadows clawed at Lisa and Jenna, a relentless tide of dark energy that surged from all corners. Each step backward felt like retreating into the edge of a vast abyss, and with every shiver of the air, the weight of 1,000 eyes bore down upon them. The harsh breathing of the figure echoed in the room, a rhythmic pulsation that seemed to blend with the rapid pounding of their hearts. Lisa tightened her grip on Jenna's hand, her skin slick with a cold sweat. "Keep moving," she growled through clenched teeth, her voice barely rising above the cacophony. The name tag in her grasp didn't just shiver with heat anymore, it throbbed in unison with the oppressive atmosphere. Images began to swirl in her mind. Faces she barely remembered, shadows that whispered forgotten secrets. Where were they taking her? "Mom, look!" Jenna cried, jerking Lisa's gaze toward the mirror. The girl within it appeared more solid now, eyes pleading, cheeks streaked with tears. Felt like anguish stretched across time. "The name, you must say it." "To what end?" Lisa shouted back, though an ember of hope flickered within her chest. If only she knew what was at stake. That as if attuned to her doubt, the figure let out a guttural growl, its shape shifting into something more monstrous, claws extending toward them with pressing purpose. "She cannot be saved. You are already trapped," it bellowed, laughter twisting the air like tainted smoke. Fear encased Lisa's mind. She balled her hands into fists around the name tag, willing it to unearth the answer they desperately sought. "Jenna, whatever happens, we don't let them take us." "Mom!" Jenna shouted again, her voice trembling as she pointed toward the mirror, where the girl now glared fiercely at the dark entity. "She knows we can't let it win." In that moment, clarity sliced through Lisa's panic. The darkness pulsed, craving their surrender, and the tag grew hotter against her chest as if it harbored a spark of truth, one that could expose the monster that loomed before them. But revealing the name could also unleash something far more sinister. Drawing strength from Jenna's fearlessness, she took a deep breath, feeling her pulse steady. "What is your name?" Quiet at first, her voice swelled with determination, building into a fierce cry that resonated through the oppressive darkness. In response, the figure recoiled with a shriek, its form wavering. Seemed almost afraid, caught off guard. Shadows twisted, churning through the air, but around them, the oppressive urgency morphed into raw potential. "Go, Jenna! Get away from the mirror!" Lisa called, urgency underpinning her voice. Jenna hesitated but nodded, obedience rooted in their shared bond. They broke eye contact with the flickering girl, as Lisa watched the shadows grasp at her daughter not with strength but with an allure, like a dance partner trying to pull her into a deadly waltz. Focus, Lisa shouted at the tag, summoning every ounce of power within it. Show me the truth. The light erupted, engulfing them, illuminating the swirling shadows with stark clarity. Chills shot through her body, bridging horror and exhilaration. And then, in a sudden violent burst of light, the name tag displayed a name Lisa had seen on that dusty, long-forgotten photograph tucked away in a forgotten box. The echoes of laughter and grief jumbled together, forming a bridge to the past. Misty, Lisa breathed, the name spilling from her lips like a suppressed memory clawing to be heard. The shadows shrieked, a sound that could shatter glass, shrinking back with feral agony. But as realization dawned, a cold dread seeped into her bones. What have I done? The air crackled, and the mirror glimmered open, revealing visions of a warped reality ringing with whispers. You've released her, but have you freed yourself? The girl's voice intoned, both haunting and potent. In that moment, clarity hung heavy. Jenna and Lisa exchanged a glance, the weight of their shared revelation echoing between them. Shadows quivered, now more than a mere threat but a reckoning, a dark history demanding to be addressed. Everything just changed, Lisa thought, feeling the haunting chill of truth snaking its way into her heart. They were no longer just fleeing. They were poised to fight. But would they stand strong against the temptation lurking in the shadows, or would this revelation consume them both? With uncertainty smothering her courage, Lisa knew they had to plunge deeper into the darkness. And the question loomed larger than ever. Were they prepared to face whatever lay ahead? The darkness around Lisa and Jenna pulsed like a living thing, rising and falling in rhythm with their frantic hearts. As the air thickened, an unsettling blend of dread and determination gripped Lisa. We released her, she murmured, trying to make sense of it. But who exactly is Misty? No time for questions. We have to keep moving, Jenna replied, her youthful voice cutting through the reverberating echoes that still brushed the edges of their reality. The shadows recoiled but twisted insistently, seeming to shift toward the name hanging in the air like an unsung curse. Taking a deep breath, Lisa forced her legs into action. Jenna matched her pace, each step driven by a desperate need to escape. They darted past the mirror, its surface shimmering with the conscious awareness of what had just been unleashed. Mom, I can feel her. Misty, she wants something from us. Jenna's eyes shone with a mix of fear and fascination, their reflections mirroring untold horrors and untamed curiosity as if summoned by Jenna's words. The air split with a sudden coldness. The name tag burned beneath Lisa's shirt, its heat blaring like a warning alarm. What are you asking of us, Misty? She called into the void, her voice reverberating against the walls. But the darkness lurched closer, devouring her words. Over here, Jenna shouted, tugging Lisa toward an adjacent doorway they hadn't noticed. It was slightly ajar, a thin sliver of light seeping through the crack, beckoning like a promise of escape. The moment they crossed the threshold, an unsettling stillness enveloped them. The room was small and dimly lit, plastered with faded wallpaper that screamed of forgotten times. A single desk stood by the window, cluttered with discarded trinkets and a vintage radio, its cracked face glinting ominously in the low light. As Lisa stepped inside, unease settled in her bones. Jenna moved toward the desk, eyes wide with wonder. Look, Mom, it's a diary, she squealed, lifting a tattered book from the clutter. Protests bubbled inside Lisa, urging her to wrench her daughter away to protect her. Could be a trap. We can't. But the moment Jenna flipped it open, a rush of wind shivered through the room. Words began to float from the pages, written in frantic scrawls. I was lost, the darkness promised safety but took my soul. Find me before it takes you too. The text flickered, lines blurring like ash in the wind, as Lisa grasped Jenna's arm tightly. We need to go. Now. Suddenly, the shadows surged through the cracks in the walls, coiling around the doorway behind them, sealing them in. A low growl filled the air, deeper and more violent. A beast made of dread. "Mom! The name tag!" Jenna exclaimed, eyes wild with discovery as she pointed to the diary. "It's connected. We have to name her if we want to know where she is." Lisa was torn. She trusted Jenna's intuition. Yet the dread of unveiling Misty's truth loomed like a dark cloud overhead. But what if naming her again drags us deeper into the darkness? Before Jenna could respond, the shadows groaned, squeezing closer, hungry and insatiable. "You must choose," they hissed, their tone now deceptively soft. "Do it, Mom. It's our only chance," Jenna insisted, desperation rising in her voice. The choice crashed down on Lisa's shoulders: admit Misty's existence and risk unleashing her anger, or flee from the truth and let the shadows devour them whole. Her heart raced. "All right, Misty," she spoke, voice barely above a whisper, the name surging with haunting reverberations. The shadows quaked. The air crackled around them with an unholy scream. The room shook, the ground beneath them trembling as though the very fabric of reality was tearing apart. "What have you done?" The shadows howled, the fury rising with every syllable as the diary closed with a deafening clap. The specters of Misty's past erupted around them. Lisa and Jenna were plunged into visions, fragments of a life lived in shadows, memories shared with grief and hope. "Please be careful," Jenna gasped, clutching her mother's hand tighter. The room twisted further, brightening intermittently with the faces of lost souls begging for liberation. "You've awakened her desires. You'll face them all, but can you survive?" And just as a piercing cry pierced the fabric of the air, the lights went out, plunging them into suffocating blackness. The question loomed like a specter. Could they confront the shadows of Misty's past without surrendering their own souls? Lisa and Jenna stood huddled together, the darkness around them heavy and suffocating, a thick fog of fear and uncertainty. They could feel the pressure of the shadows pressing in, full of restless souls that yearned for release. Every heartbeat echoed in their ears, a reminder of their own fragile existence within this tangled web of history and pain. "What do we do now?" Jenna whispered, her voice trembling in the void. "We find a way to help Misty," Lisa replied, though confidence wavered in her heart. "We have to confront her past, but we do it together. We'll figure this out." A low rumble filled the air, vibrating through the floor beneath them. The shadows swirled, whispering in an endless chorus of despair. "You've awakened our queen," they chanted, their voices blending into an otherworldly harmony. The mention of queen sent a chill down Lisa's spine. Who or what was Misty, really? Suddenly, light flickered in a corner of the room, illuminating a path littered with fragments of memories. Toys, photographs, and heart-wrenching cries. Each piece told a story beckoning for recognition, for acknowledgement. "Mom, look," Jenna cried, pointing at a small locket amidst the debris. As Lisa knelt to pick it up, she felt a rush of electricity pulse through her fingers. It snapped open with a soft click, revealing a tiny image of Misty, the girl who had haunted them, a child caught between being seen and forgotten. "This was her life," Lisa murmured, tracing the image with her thumb. The shadows recoiled momentarily, their grip loosening as if history itself pulsed with renewed energy. "If we can understand her, maybe we can help her find peace." She turned to Jenna, whose eyes showed a mix of understanding and fear. "This locket must be important to her," Jenna said, a spark igniting in her voice. "Maybe it holds the key to her name, to her story." As they dug deeper into the remnants, the air vibrated with a low hum. Each item seemed to resonate with the truth of Misty's existence, and as they pieced the past together, whispers from the shadows grew more intense. "Release her," they exhaled, desperation coloring their tone. "You must choose." "Choose what?" Jenna shouted. "What do you want from us?" The darkness responded with a shudder. "The truth is fragile," it hissed, vibrating with an unsettling melody that chilled their cores. "Speak her name fully or risk losing it all." Gaze locked on the locket, Lisa felt a thread of determination weave its way through the fabric of fear. Jenna's wringing hands reminded her of their urgency. "Misty, Misty May," she breathed, the name feeling both foreign and achingly familiar. A powerful wave crashed against her, shadows swirling like a tempest at the mention of that name. The room vibrated, and memories flooded back drenched in anguish, laughter, and forbidden laughter, and then it happened. Misty's figure emerged, a child shrouded in luminescent shadows, bright yet sorrowful. "You found me," she spoke, voice a clear bell amidst a torrential storm. "But freeing me isn't enough, I need you to understand." Understand what? Lisa felt both terrified and anchored by the ghost's presence, desperately wishing to bridge the gap between them. Understand what was taken, what was hidden, Misty proclaimed, anguish weaving deep into every word. As she spoke, the shadows danced in response, each phrase resonating through the room like a distant drum. Images cascaded before them, a family torn apart, a betrayal etched deep into the walls, a childish cry echoing in the night. "Long ago, I was lost to the darkness, trapped in an endless loop," Misty continued. "The shadows feed off our despair. We need you to help us break this curse." Jenna moved closer, her eyes shimmering with hope and fear. "How do we help?" "Speak my truth, and weave it into yours," Misty implored, shimmering. "But you must be ready for how it will change you." With each moment, Lisa felt the weight of the shadows pulse against her skin, wrapping tighter, urging her deeper into the depths of Misty's pain. "We are here for you, Misty. We'll help you find your peace. Tell us what we need to do. Don't just free me," Misty urged, her voice filling with intensity. "Remember my name. Remember our connection. Acknowledge my truth, or be lost with me forever." Then, a shimmering light enveloped Misty, and the room began to swirl with tumult. The echo of countless voices bellowing through time threatened to overwhelm her. "Mom, what is happening?" Jenna screamed, clutching Lisa's hand tightly, as so many spirits filled the walls, claiming to merge with their lives, demanding recognition. Lisa's heart raced, torn between preservation and confronting all that history entailed. "Hold on, honey. We're going to get through this," she called, grounding herself in Jenna's resolve. "Remember me," Misty urged again, a tear glistening on her ethereal face. "You hold my fate in your hands. Your fate, Misty May, is not over yet," Lisa declared, rising to the challenge as shadows twisted violently around them. "We refuse to let your story end here. We acknowledge your pain and your name." With a scream of defiance, she grasped the locket tightly and shouted, "You are Misty May, a brave child trapped in memories. We will not let your story be buried in shadow. You will be free." And with that, a blinding light burst forth, cascading over the room. The darkened spirits gasped, recoiling in horror as Misty's figure began to shimmer brighter, embracing the truth that spread around them like wildfire. "Thank you. Thank you." Misty's voice echoed as shadows fell away, releasing their grip on both her and the past as everything swirled into brilliance. Lisa and Jenna felt weight lift from their shoulders. They were no longer just trapped in the Cedar Springs Motel. They had woven themselves into a story of connection and triumph. In that moment, the shadows fell and faded into nothingness, leaving the air clear and calm, filled only with the echoes of freedom. For amidst the chaos, Lisa understood. They hadn't just freed Misty. They had also unveiled their own strength against the darkness. "Let us go home," Lisa whispered, gratitude flooding her being as Jenna nodded, her eyes bright with newfound understanding. They walked away from the remnants of the Cedar Springs, their hearts a little lighter, forever changed by the ghosts they had embraced, and together, they stepped into the light, leaving the haunted history behind them, a testament to resilience, a promise of hope. Your journey with Lisa and Jenna ends here, but new stories await. So, don't wait. You need to subscribe now to our channel, so you never miss the next exclusive tales that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Smash the like button and feed the algorithm now. Your support matters more than ever. Flood the comments section with your thoughts and reactions about this journey. What did you think? I want to hear all your theories and feelings. And don't forget to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to be part of the story. Your friends will thank you, and trust me, True fans know the value of spreading the word. Now go, and never let the past haunt you again.